Hi guys, it's Ray from Ray's Turquoise Turtle. So today I am starting a massive project of this. This is 250 phone grips. 200 of them are for an order, 50 of them are for my overstock. So step one is taking them all out of the lovely bags they come in. These bags are cute, but I don't particularly like putting them back in the bags, so I'm going to hang on to the bags, but I typically make cards for my grips to go on. I just like the way they display better on the card. So I custom designed my own cards. I cut them. When they're not for somebody else, I can put my name or whatever on here. But so step one in doing all of these is going to be taking them out of the bags and popping them all up. And it is going to be a chore. I also don't like to reuse the bags because half the time they rip when you open them and it's just not good. By popping them up as I open them, I can get a quick visual on if they work. So, step one of this studio vlog is just opening 200 and something phone grips. I will include a couple of extras in this order, but this is just step one. Cutting back in a minute to say the next step of this process is just taking some 91% alcohol on a rag and cleaning the tops. Just doing it in batches as I go makes it easier. Just want to make sure there's no oils or anything from the manufacturing process on the top that will prevent the resin from sticking or causing fish eyes. And I have laid these out in a grid. All of the ones that are laid out are already washed. So once this grid is filled in completely, it will be my 200. And there we go, 205. I do a little bit over just in case there's any breakage, but that is what 205 prepped foam grips looks like. So, continuing on, next step is getting glitter and resin on all of these. So I have a bunch pulled out. I have a bunch of glitters pulled. I have a bunch of cups with resin mixed up that I'm keeping off to the side because I'm trying to keep these papers clean so that the bases don't get sticky. So I pulled a bunch of fine glitters. Got a bunch of popsicle sticks. I think I have 8 cups ready to go. But I have these new Let's Resin iridescent colors of glitter. There's 15 colors in here, and I think I want to use some of these. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those. I'm going to do a purple. This one's fuchsia. Blue. A sky blue, which is, I guess, a little bit different. I'm going to do this lime green. I think it's called lawn green, actually. I might do this orange. 2, 4, 6. Cyan. A regular green. I'm going to pull one of the yellows. Yellow or lemon? I think I'm going to go with the regular yellow. So, again, I don't want to use that terribly well sealed, so that's great. I'm just going to sprinkle some in and give it a mix. These are really pretty shiny glitters. And it won't take much because I'm not doing a ton of any given color. This orange is pretty too. And I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit. So while I'm in the middle of glittering phone grips, I am also working on cutting decals for them. These ones get little hashtag #CCult decals for the business they're going to. So I have some Cricut mats ready, and I have some more. I am just laying out small strips of a couple colors on each mat, about 3 to 4 inches, sometimes 5. These mats are getting a little old, so I use a brayer to stick them down really well. And by doing them lined up this way, I can just run it through and then pull the mat out, turn it around, and run it through again. Because they're all going to be the same, it doesn't have to be by color. So this just makes it easier to lay out like 20 of the decal and then just buzz it through over and over and over again. So that's how I'm doing that. I have a ton ready for decal, so I'm just kind of working my way through while I wait on glitter to dry in batches and in my downtime. So I have, I guess, 8 different colors here. All of those are pretty similar. Oh, no, this is actually silver. It just looked like the rose gold in that light. So I have 8 different colors that I'll be cutting and just putting on. I'll grab one, whatever color looks best on it, I'll put on there. So that's that step. And this part will just be repetitive for each color. I'll just swap them in and out as one color finishes. I'll move on to the next. Over and over and over again. Remember, I'm doing just over 200 of these, so it is a lot of small decals to cut. Okay, so these two already have a decal on them. This is the decal. It's on my transfer tape. And I will peel the backing. Yep. The S and the E aren't welded together, clearly. So and I don't normally decal with gloves. There. So I just take it, and the decal goes right in the center. Rub it on, and remove my transfer tape, and make sure it is stuck down well. So, and I will reuse this transfer tape a ton of times. So for the top coat over the decal, I just get a tiny bit of resin on my popsicle stick and rub it around in a circular motion just to dome the top. Unless you go like hog wild and use a ton, it won't roll off because resin likes to follow resin. So if you haven't given a small amount a trail to follow, it will stay where you put it. So that's all that one needs. I just do in a circular motion. And I just mixed this resin. I mixed it fairly cold, so it was somewhat of an aggressive mix. So it does have some bubbles. And I will show you what I do with them, because you don't want to put heat on these phone grips. You don't want to melt them. So don't run your heat gun or your torch over them if you can avoid it. What I use is one of these little mini misters. You get these back in. This is filled with 91% alcohol. And I will just, once I have a batch of them lined up, I would do this. I just spritz from a little ways back. And I don't know if you can see the bubbles popping. but you can kind of watch it and do that a couple times if necessary. If you see any little spots that need fixing on your edges, now is the time to do that, because you don't really want to do another coat. So do make sure you got your edges covered. And then those three can just get set aside. And the next step will be carding them. The next step while I am decaling and top coating is I cut the cards for the phone grips. So I have a stack preloaded, and that way I can just slip them through. This mat's pretty sticky, so I really can't undo it one-handed, but I'm just using 8.5 by 11 paper for this. So as I get a bunch ready, I will go through and pull them off and fold the cards. So I just did this part without the camera on, and my mat just slipped behind me. Pull them off the mat. Some of my mats are stickier than others. This one's pretty sticky. Okay. So get them off the mat. And then fold them over. I don't bother with my bone folder and my scoring mat to do something as simple as this. It's just not worth the extra time because it's such a simple, small fold. So and I usually work in batches. I mean, I have these at every stage I've done currently, except for the initial glitter phase. Those are all 100% complete at this point. So once they're folded, you can kind of give them an extra flatten if you want, but it really doesn't matter. And I have a bag full that are already top coated, so I will kind of look them over quick. And then they go in there and click them shut. And this is my own card that I designed, so I don't have a file or anything for it. I designed it on Design Space from Shapes, so I believe there are cards you can purchase out there. But I can't share this file myself because I don't know how to do that. So that's about it. This is the final step. I will come back when they are all carded just to show you what the order looks like completed. But this is basically how I process a large order. But I will come back when I am ready to pack them up and get to that point. So that's it. That's how they get presented. Well, here they are, all carded up. All that's left to do is box them up and get them shipped out. But that is all of them. Pretty pleased. Okay, so how I'm packing these is to go in this box. So I decided the best bet would be to take a couple sheets of wax paper and lay them out to wrap it with. I like to use wax paper when I pack up anything that's resin. These are cured, but they're not going to sit here for a month to be super hard cured, so they could still be slightly tacky or get marks on them. So I like to keep them flat, and I don't want any of them touching each other, because if they go through a heat cycle in the truck, they can end up sticking together, things like that. So I put a piece of chipboard down, and I cut them down so they'd fit in the box, and I have a stack of wax paper sheets. And I put a layer of 30 down, and I'm going to put a sheet of wax paper over that, and then another chipboard. I'm going to try and keep these stacked as neatly as possible. Now that bottom layer started at the bottom on the outside, so I'm going to start at the top this time. And each row will hold 6, so without bending the cards or anything. I'm hoping that they'll stay pretty secure this way. Again, I just don't want them to arrive all stuck to each other. They are headed to Florida from New York, so they're going to start out cold and probably go through some heat cycles along the way. So I just want them to have their best chance at arriving in the condition they left in. So I will just be sandwiching them back and forth until they are all on here. But anytime I mail anything with resin, a cup, a coaster, whatever the case may be, I do wrap it in wax paper first. You never ever ever want to mail anything resin with bubble wrap touching it. No matter how well you think it's cured, you have a good chance of your product arriving with little marks from the bubble wrap. So don't just go straight to bubble wrap. It's a bad idea. Then your customer will be complaining and asking how to get the marks from the bubble wrap off. So this is my method, and hopefully they'll fit in this box when I'm done. If not, I will grab a larger box tonight. I do have something else I'm sending them, so if I only have a few that won't fit, I will put them in the other package, because I was going to send just one box, but I decided that because the other items are heavier, that I would rather ship them separately just to avoid any problems. So hopefully you get the point. When I am done with my stacks, and it's going to be just over 3 stacks, the top layer is not going to have a full stack, but when I'm done, the last stack will get the wax paper and the chipboard, and then I will fold these over and tape them super tight, and then fold up the bottom and tape it super tight, and then I'll wrap the whole stack in bubble wrap at that point. So that's it. That's how I'm packing these, and this order is complete.